In 2026, cruise lines made a decision that's turning thousands of passengers away right at the gangway. Not for missing documents, not for late arrivals, for what they wore. I'm talking about regular passengers, people who saved for months, paid full price, packed their bags, drove to the port, and were denied boarding right there on the dock. No refund, no exception, no appeal. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what's triggering these denials, which cruise lines are enforcing the hardest in 2026, and the simple 5-point checklist that guarantees this never happens to you. For years, cruise lines had dress codes on the books, but enforcement was inconsistent at best. You could show up in almost anything and board without a second glance. That changed quietly starting in late 2024, and by 2026, the major cruise lines have formalized their policies and handed port staff the direct authority to enforce them on the spot. Royal Caribbean updated their guest conduct policy in early 2026. Carnival followed with specific language in their sail and sign agreements referencing appropriate attire for embarkation. Norwegian and Princess now include dress code language in their booking confirmation emails, which means you agreed to comply, whether you read it or not. This is not about fashion. This is a policy shift that gives crew members and port staff the legal standing to deny boarding with zero refund obligation. And the reason it's accelerating now is straightforward. The cruise industry is repositioning itself upmarket. They are actively competing with luxury resort brands, and that means enforcing a baseline standard that reflects the experience they're selling. Here are the 6 violations that are getting people turned away in 2026. Violation number 1, and the one that surprises people most, offensive or graphic text and imagery on clothing. And I want to be precise here, because the enforcement is broader than you'd expect. It's not just obviously offensive language. Cruise lines now interpret this category to include shirts with drug references, weapons imagery, sexually suggestive phrases, and in some documented cases, political slogans that could generate conflict among other passengers. Royal Caribbean's policy specifically uses the phrase, clothing deemed disruptive to the guest experience. That language is deliberately vague, and intentionally so. It gives staff discretion. In practice, what that means is this. If your shirt makes a crew member uncomfortable enough to flag it, you have a problem. The practical rule here is simple. If you'd be embarrassed wearing that shirt to a nice dinner, leave it in your checked bag. Not because it's wrong, but because the person checking your boarding pass now has the authority to make that call for you. And they will. A passenger in Fort Lauderdale in early 2026 was denied boarding for a t-shirt that referenced a firearm brand. The cruise line offered no refund. The passenger's travel insurance did not cover it. Violation number 2, swimwear worn as regular clothing during embarkation. This one is less obvious than it sounds, and that's exactly why it's catching people off guard. I'm not talking about someone showing up in a full swimsuit. I'm talking about bikini tops worn as shirts, swim shorts worn without a cover-up over them, and board shorts worn with an uncovered upper body. Here's the distinction that matters. Once you're on the ship near the pool deck, the rules are different. That environment has its own standards. But during the boarding process, at the terminal, on the gangway, and until you reach your cabin, cruise lines are now applying the same dress standard they use for dining venues. Carnival's 2026 policy specifically references, quote, appropriate coverage during embarkation and debarkation. Norwegian's language is more direct. It references the boarding area as a public environment requiring standard guest attire. The fix is simple. Pack a light cover-up or a button-down shirt in your carry-on. You can change the moment you reach the pool deck, but you need to be covered to board. One thing worth knowing, the staff member checking your boarding pass at the gangway is the final decision maker. Their judgment has no appeals process. Violation number 3 is where the policy gets most subjective, and therefore most dangerous for passengers. Excessively torn, distressed, or revealing clothing. Ripped jeans with large tears above the knee. Heavily frayed shorts. Tops with significant cutouts. These are now in a gray zone on multiple cruise lines, specifically Princess and MSC, which maintain the most conservative boarding standards in 2026. Here is the forensic reality of this situation. What one crew member waves through without comment, another will flag immediately. The policy language uses words like excessive and inappropriate, which are inherently subjective. And that subjectivity is the risk you're accepting when you wear distressed clothing to board. I have a contact who works in cruise guest services, and they confirmed that enforcement of this category increased noticeably in the first quarter of 2026. Particularly on Princess ships departing from European ports, where the brand positioning is most upscale. The practical rule: any clothing where the damage is the design feature, where the holes and fraying are the point, keep it in your checked luggage until you're on the ship. You paid for this cruise. Do not let a wardrobe decision end it before it starts. Violation number 4 is one that almost no one discusses: footwear. Specifically, bare feet during boarding, or footwear that does not meet the ship's safety requirements for the gangway. This is less about fashion and more about liability. A cruise ship gangway is a maritime safety structure. Ports have baseline safety compliance requirements, and that includes appropriate footwear for certain gangway configurations. The ships most likely to enforce this are older vessels, where the gangway has a steeper incline or a metal grid surface. Norwegian Cruise Line documented 3 boarding delays in 2025, all related to footwear, each resolved by the passenger retrieving alternate shoes from their luggage. The simple fix: always wear your most practical footwear to board. Closed-toe shoes or sandals with a back strap. Save the flip-flops for the Lido deck. 2 minutes of thought before you leave the hotel eliminates this problem entirely. Violation number 5 is the most sensitive category, and the one cruise lines are least likely to publicize: clothing associated with gangs, criminal organizations, or known extremist symbols, regardless of the wearer's intent or awareness. This category was formally incorporated into multiple cruise line policies in 2025, following a series of incidents that received almost no mainstream press coverage. Cruise lines do not publicize these cases, but they are documented in passenger forums and in cruise line legal correspondence. Enforcement here is handled discreetly. You will not see it announced. A staff member will approach you privately at the boarding gate and explain that your clothing is preventing you from completing the boarding process. And here's the critical detail: if your clothing falls into this category, even unintentionally, the decision is final. No supervisor escalation. No negotiation. The staff member has both the authority and the obligation to act. If you have any doubt about an item of clothing, leave it at home. The upside of wearing it is 0. The downside is your entire vacation. Violation number 6, and the one generating the most complaints in 2026, is the enforcement of a minimum smart casual standard during embarkation on premium tier ships. This applies specifically to celebrity cruises, Oceania, and certain princess itineraries, ships that are actively repositioning toward a more discerning, experienced passenger. The policy means that cargo shorts, sleeveless undershirts, and athletic wear, even clean, expensive, brand-new athletic wear, can be flagged during embarkation on specific sail dates and itineraries. This is the cruise industry making a deliberate choice about clientele. And if you've invested serious money in a cruise vacation, the last thing you want is to arrive underprepared for a policy that's been in writing since the day you booked. Smart casual is simple: collared shirt, clean trousers or chinos, closed-toe shoes. That combination will never get you turned away on any ship, on any cruise line, anywhere in the world. That is the standard. Write it down. Now here's what I want to say directly, because it's something no other cruise channel is saying out loud. These policies are not passenger hostile, they are passenger protective. I've analyzed cruise industry data for years, and the feedback I hear most consistently from experienced cruisers, people who have sailed dozens of times, is that the onboard environment has felt less refined, less enjoyable, less worth the investment. What the cruise industry is doing in 2026 is responding to that feedback. They are protecting the value of the product you paid for. When you book a cruise, you are not just buying a cabin and some buffet meals. You are buying an environment, a standard, an experience. And these dress code enforcements are the cruise lines saying clearly, we are protecting that standard for everyone on board. If you're an experienced cruiser, that is good news. That is the product improving. The only people this hurts are the ones who weren't prepared. And after watching this video, that will never be you. Here is your LUXE Cruise Intel pre-boarding checklist. 5 things to pack in your carry-on bag that eliminate every risk we've covered today. 1. A clean, collared shirt, button-down or polo. It takes up no space. It covers every scenario on every cruise line. 2. A light cover-up or sarong if you're wearing swimwear underneath. You can be on the pool deck in 5 minutes. Board covered. 3. Closed-toe shoes or sandals with a back strap. Save the bare slides for the ship. 4. Before you leave home, pull up your booking confirmation email and read the dress code section. It's there. You agreed to it. 30 seconds of reading eliminates all uncertainty. 5. If you're sailing on Celebrity, Oceania, or Princess, email guest services before your sail date and ask specifically about embarkation dress requirements for your itinerary. 1 email. That's it. Preparation is the only strategy with a 100% success rate. The passengers who get turned away at the gangway in 2026 won't be troublemakers. They'll be regular people who didn't know the rules changed. Now you know. If this gave you one thing to think about before your next cruise, hit subscribe. I publish insider cruise intel every week. The stuff the cruise lines don't put in the brochure. I'll see you on the next one.